All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's week 12 of the NFL season, and it sounds crazy to say that. I really feel like this season has flown by, but we got the 3-8 Chicago Bears traveling to MetLife Stadium to take on the 6-4 New York Jets. At this point in the season, again, 12 weeks in, and we're looking at the AFC East. Every single game from here on out holds so much weight. So much weight. I mean, this is literally a 4-team race for the AFC East, and then we also have to factor in the wild card. or the 3 wild cards. Okay, so the Jets have a really, really good chance to make the playoffs if they don't shoot themselves in the foot. If they're not making mistakes week after week after week that's costing them football games. You know, this is a football team that has the talent to make it to the playoffs and could potentially do damage, given the defense, given the offensive weapons and whatnot. Now, unfortunately, the Buffalo Bills defeated the Detroit Lions yesterday on Thanksgiving, and the Miami Dolphins are playing the 1-win Houston Texans. So a lot of people could probably assume that the Dolphins, have a good chance of winning that game. The good news, the Patriots did lose to the Vikings. So if we look at the AFC East standings, the Bills are in first place as of the next couple of days, unless the Dolphins win. Dolphins are in second, Jets are in third, Pats are in fourth. We're looking at the Chicago Bears, this 3-win Bears team coming to town. And I got to be honest with you, I know it's not like Chiefs-Bills, it's not like the biggest matchup in the world, but this really feels like a must-win. When I look at the talent level on both teams, when I look at where both teams are at as far as overall development, the Jets, again, the Buffalo Bills just beat the Lions. The Dolphins are playing Houston. In order to keep afloat within this division, the Jets have got to be able to beat the teams that they're better than on paper. Now, that's not to say that I'm not a believer in Eberflus or I'm not a believer in the Chicago Bears team. At times this season, they have been extremely fun to watch. They've pulled off some awesome upset wins. And in my opinion, I believe the Chicago Bears next year are going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. I mean, they have some of the core pieces in place already. In fact, funny enough, the Bears have actually drafted a lot of my favorite players in college, like Johnson at corner, Brisker at safety. In fact, I actually really wanted the Jets to draft him this past season. He's doing some awesome things for the Bears defense. And of course, my guy, Justin Fields. I'm a big Fields fan, and I hope he continues to grow within that Bears offense as time moves on. I also really like the Chase Claypool acquisition midway through the season. Yes, they dealt a second-round pick, but they acquired a second-round pick at the trade deadline for Roquan Smith. This Bears team is going to have multiple high picks, over $100 million in cap space. I really think that this Bears team can make a ton of noise next season. It kind of reminds me of the Jets last year, right, where they have a couple core pieces, but it's not a complete team. They're young, brand new coaching staff and Matt Eberflus. It's just a matter of time, in my opinion, before the Bears will really start putting teams on notice. Now, I am filming this video pretty early on Friday morning, and we still don't have an official update from the Bears on who's going to be the starting quarterback this Sunday. Is it going to be Justin Fields, who is obviously dealing with a shoulder injury? He's actually been limited in practice this week. Or is it going to be backup quarterback Trevor Siemian, ex-Jet Trevor Siemian, taking the helm on Sunday? I don't think the overall game plan will change that much, right? Who are the Bears? They're a running football team. The Bears will run the football down opposing team's throat. That is what they want to do. They want to pound the rock, control the game, control the clock, and really let their defense and running game do the talking. Beat the opposition up. You look at Matt Eberflus, he's all about flocking towards the football, playing aggressively, really just being violent. He's always had great development back with Indianapolis with defensive players. It didn't really matter if they were high draft picks, middle round draft picks, late round draft picks. Eberflus always got the best out of their guys, which is something that I've always loved and respected from Eberflus. I mean, he's always preaching effort. He's always preaching big motor. You got to go out there and just fly around the football field, get to the football. And, the Bears play that way. I know they're not victorious on the scoreboard every single Sunday, but at the same time, I like how the Bears play the game. But going back to the quarterback position here, I don't think the overall game plan changes that much depending on the quarterback. But I do think Justin Fields' legs have the potential to hurt the Jets defense. When I'm just being honest. When I'm thinking about Trevor Siemian going up against the Jets defense in MetLife Stadium, that pass rush, those corners, those veteran linebackers, I don't think it'll be pretty for Chicago. I don't. I think if it's Trevor Siemian, it could be a long day. It could be a nice bounce back win for the Jets. I mean, they got absolutely humiliated against the New England Patriots a week ago, losing 10-3. The defense was totally awesome. But to lose in the last minute of the game on a punt return, you got to get that bad taste out of your mouth. And if you are going up against a backup quarterback in Siemian, not really a top tier backup quarterback, it's not like he's a top 5 backup QB, in the NFL. This could be the week, again, at home here, to bounce back and look like a playoff team. They have the ability. But I'll say this, if it's Justin Fields, they have got to watch out for Fields' legs. Josh Allen has hurt this team. Mac Jones, who's not even really like that mobile of a quarterback. He's not some sort of running quarterback. He has hurt this Jets defense with his legs. Lamar Jackson is another one. This defense has been hurt by quarterbacks running the football, and Justin Fields, frankly, excels in that department. So let's take a look at the Jets offense. What can it do to have success against this Bears defense? Obviously, the big storyline is Mike White, right? Getting the first start of the season at the quarterback position. Zach Wilson officially benched by the Jets, and he's actually not even going to be the backup quarterback this Sunday. He's not even going to be dressing, right? So he's just inactive. The Jets are essentially just putting him on ice and completely hitting the reset button. Just you got to get some time away. Joe Flacco is going to be the team's backup quarterback, and I got to be honest, I am totally excited to see what this offense looks like under Mike White. We've seen Mike White make good decisions with the football. We've seen him put the ball in play quite a few. We've seen him win a football game last year against the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, where he threw for over 400 yards. Okay, so I'm not saying that we're going to get that performance again. I'm not saying that of course I would want that performance, but I don't think it's a necessity. I think really what it comes down to is understanding the context of the New York Jets. We know this defense is elite. We know this offense has playmakers around it. Elijah Moore, 2nd round pick. Denzel Mims, 2nd round pick. Garrett Wilson, top 10 pick. Michael Carter, a really good young back. Braxton Berrios was brought back by Joe Douglas on a multi-year deal. I think this 2 veteran tight ends coming off the best seasons of their career, and CJ Uzomah, Tyler Conklin, let's not beat ourselves and feed these guys the football. I think, everybody's talking about Zach Wilson, his time on the bench, what it could potentially do for him moving forward. We got Saleh talking about it. We got Mike LaFleur talking about it. Fans, media, everybody's talking about how it's good for young quarterbacks to spend time on the bench, watch somebody else do it, sit in the meeting rooms, go out to practice, and essentially not have any pressure on you. That's what Mike White has been doing since last year. So I believe that we're going to see a more polished version of Mike White. Not saying he's a top 15 guy, but I think we can get a similar performance. I honestly think the perfect pro comp for Mike White is Jared Goff. From a mechanic standpoint, both quarterbacks to me look the same. I think both guys throw with good timing and anticipation. When they are doing that and they are making good decisions with the football, they could both have really big games. But I think they start running into trouble when they're late, when they start forcing passes. Neither guy has the biggest arm in the world. So throwing with timing, playing in these types of systems, I think is really important for both players. And we saw that a lot with Jared, with Sean McVay, right? Just playing within the offense, working off of play action, stepping up in the pocket, hitting guys over the middle of the field. I think that's really where Mike White can have a lot of success. But I really don't want to neglect the running game, because we look at Chicago, their defense against the run, it hasn't been that good this season. They're 25th in yards per rush at 4.7. They're giving up 1.6 rushing touchdowns per game, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but it's 31st in all of football. They're allowing 142 yards on the ground. So I don't want to downplay the quarterback position or make it sound like it's an easy thing to do to lace up on Sunday and go play QB. But with that said, I just want to see the basics, the absolute basics from Mike White. Go out there, play within the confines of the system, scan the field, find the open targets. If nobody's open, check it down, throw the ball away. We do not need to see hero ball. We do not need to see passes being forced into double coverage or triple coverage. Personally, I don't want to see these crazy extended plays where he's scampering around and, risks getting sacked, knocking the Jets out of field goal range, putting them in, third and longs. Just play within the offense. And I think this Jets team will be fine. If we're talking stats, I think 180 yards gets the job done, maybe a touchdown or two, no interceptions, and as long as Mike White is putting the football in play, so I would say like a completion percentage above 63%, where the Jets are controlling the ball, their time is ticking, it's not constant incompletions when the Jets offense has the ball. I think if that's the case, that is good enough to win the game. We don't need 400. We don't need 330 with 3 touchdowns. Would that be nice? Sure. But it's not a necessity. It's not needed, in my opinion, with this Jets squad, given the defense, given what they've shown throughout the course of the season, essentially locking up numerous quarterbacks, numerous offenses, wherever. MetLife Stadium, in Pittsburgh, in Green Bay, in Denver. Doesn't matter. This Jets defense has been doing some great things. Speaking of the defense, what do they need to do to have success against this Bears offense? Again, it is a little up in the air with the quarterback position, but I'm going to say this. Because the Bears are so good in running the football this season, they are literally number 1 in the NFL in yards per rush at 5.4, rushes per game at 36.5, and rushing yards per game at 197. We're going to need a big game from Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, the entire defensive line. Can these guys not get pushed around? Can these guys not get bullied? Can they shoot gaps? Can they control double teams? Stuff like that. I think the linebackers have got to show alertness, being able to, identify handoffs and be able to come up and stop, essentially neutralize the running backs if they get through that first level, shut them down at the second level, and don't let a good play turn into a great play for the Bears running game. Also, Jordan Whitehead down in the box, I think that's going to be a one-on-one tackles in case somebody gets out to the outside, in case somebody gets free. Can Whitehead wrap up an open field? I think that's also going to be a big question mark or a big point for this Jets defense attacking this Bears offense. So it should be a good game. I'm interested to see how it plays out. Whether it's Fields, whether it's Simeon, we shall see. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.